People against, are you on? You on? Marcia, I'm asking. Okay, Marcia, Michelle Benitez, 323T639320, counsel.
Thank you. Attorney Mike Baldwin, House Counsel. Ma'am, if you can just please state your name.
Marcia Benitez.
Judge, for purposes of arraignment, my client stands mute, waits formal reading of the general information complaint.
I'll enter a not guilty plea.
Thank you.
And then she's going to plead to allowing an unlicensed driver to drive with the suspend to be dismissed, correct?
Yes.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
If you do that, the possible penalties are up to $500 in fines. 90 days jail costs her all of those, but it won't be reported to the Secretary of State. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Yes.
If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights, and there will not be a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
To the charge, allowing an unlicensed driver to drive. How do you plead?
Guilty.
Were you in the city of Trenton on Jefferson near Maple, February 9 of 23 at 11:52 in the morning? And were you in a 2014 Ford?
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, I guess so.
Why don't
I was
you-
actually in a police station, but yes, I will agree to that.
She has an explanation, but we got to get past the police stage, and then I'm going to provide.
Were you in a motor vehicle, ma'am?
What do you, I don't understand the question.
Were you in a car? Or an SUV or?
Yes.
Why are you acting like that? I'm not picking on you. I'm just asking you a question.
Because you're asking me a yes or no question that I can't actually answer with a yes or no.
Well, tell me, just tell me.
I went into the police station to get fingerprinted and I had no license at the time. So when I went in to get fingerprinted, I was arrested essentially. So no, I wasn't actually pulled over. I wasn't actually on there. I was in the Trenton police
But I
station
didn't
when it
ask you any
occurred.
of that.
Exactly. That's why, but you asked me if I was in a car. I wasn't technically in a car.
Well, at some point you were in a car on your way to the police station, weren't you? Or either there or on the way back?
Correct.
Okay, that's all I asked. I'm not quarreling with you. Were you in a 2014 Ford?
Yes.
Were you operating that vehicle on that date and at that time and at that location?
Around that location. Correct.
And you were suspended at the time, correct?
Correct.
Are you on probation or parole?
No.
Anybody force you to plead guilty?
No.
Please accept it. Suspends dismissed. Why are you so combative?
Your Honor, she feels it was unfair because she had came into this court, had adjudicated a matter with a ticket, got on a payment plan, was told to go fingerprint.
Well, that doesn't mean you can drive if you don't have a valid license.
I wasn't going to argue.
Who would interpret it that way?
Nobody did, but her feelings are that she was doing what the court told her, so she went down, so she should receive some reprieve for doing what she was told, but then she got arrested at the police department because she was driving.
Do they still have Uber here?
They
Lyft?
Yeah, they do.
But I'm unemployed with no job and no funds. And I didn't have no way I couldn't afford an Uber.
Well, look how much you're going to have to pay now. You could have taken 100 Ubers.
I don't have, if I had no money, what am I supposed to do? Call Uber and say, I have $0, but can you come and pick me up?
Ma'am, listen. Just settle down. I can't solve everybody's problems here.
Okay, well then why don't we just leave it at what it is? Why are you telling me about what I should have did? I'm saying I didn't have any money.
You live on Marion.
What does that mean?
The Trenton Police Department is not that far. If it were me, I'd have walked, and I'd have walked backward if I had to. But
I have
that's
a
just me.
degenerative disc.
I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, well, let's just not like.
Your Honor, I'm asking for a payment plan. She's already on a payment plan for the other.
Where does she? She
It's out of
doesn't.
this court.
She doesn't work.
Apparently, she's disabled. Is that correct? Is that
No, I'm a
correct?
registered nurse that's unemployed.
Anything else you want to say?
We're just asking for a payment plan, and I told her that I would ask the court if she can finish the first payment plan before we start the next payment plan. And I believe both of those cases are with you. You weren't here for some reason, and her file was handled, I believe, by Coleman Hessen on the other ticket.
Anything you would like to say, ma'am? You have to answer out loud.
No.
$100 fines, 100 costs, 75. This is a nice end of the day, Mr. Baldwin. 100 fines, 100 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment, 325 or 45 days. Do you have anything you can pay today?
No,
When can you start paying this? How much more time do you have to pay on the other case?
it's not even started yet.
How much were you ordered to pay? In
$50
a week?
a month.
All right. I'll let you pay 50 a month. I'll start at beginning July the 15th. If you don't have the money, all you have to do is call the court on or before a due date. I'll be happy to work with you. If we have to have you come in and ask 15 times, or you can do it by Zoom. I don't have a problem with the people appearing by Zoom. I'll be more than happy to give you extensions. So you just have to remember, if you don't have the money, call the court. We'll go on Zoom, or you can come in. I'm glad to give you an extension multiple times if you don't have it. Do you understand that?
I understand.
Good luck to you, man. I wish you well.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Robert James Briscoe, 17B81105. Briscoe, your name.
Robert James Briscoe.
Good morning,
morning.
Your Honor. Rachel McRippy appearing on behalf of Robert Briscoe.
I hope everything went well for you. I'd like to hear. Detective, your name. I'm referring to you, Ms. McRipley.
Okay.
Go ahead, Detective.
Brian Ramsey, detective with the Brownstown Police Department.
So what's he doing now?
He was picked up on the warrant for retail fraud.
No. I'm asking the lawyer, is he going to stand mute, wait formal reading?
Yes.
Not guilty plea is entered. So I just want to ask you a question. Mr. Briscoe, you think that the judges in this building are foolish?
No, sir.
Do we look like we want to be somebody's tool? I'm just asking you. You have not shown up on this. I'm going to set a bond on you that you're not going to believe. You've taken this retail fraud and made me think of it like it's a 25-year felony. You like to play games, huh? You know how many times you haven't shown up on this?
Sir, I don't like
You know how many
to play
times?
games.
Okay, well, good. We're going to give you a pretrial date. I'll listen to anything you have to say, Ms. McRipley, but just for the record, just so anybody knows. A warrant was issued in June of 17. He was here in July of 20, or was here, supposed to be here in July of 20, didn't show. That was after he was initially arraigned in 17. He didn't show up in June of 17. And then he was supposed to be here in 20, didn't show, warrant issued. We lifted the warrant in 21. I set it for an in-person. He didn't show up then. I then did it again in 23, set 6,010%. That was January of 23, and he didn't show up again. Anything you'd like to say on his behalf?
Your Honor, he has had a rough couple of years. He's been going through homelessness. So I know a lot of times it doesn't excuse, but that's the explanation that he had. He has been dealing with some deaths in his family, as well as his own health issues. He understands he needs to take care of this.
He was able to post this bond back in January of 23. Not too many homeless people can come up with $500. He still has warrants out for his arrest, at least 3 of them. I see one in Monroe, another in Wyandotte, another in Huron Township.
Your Honor.
Listen. Listen to me.
Okay.
Before I retire in 8 years, we are going to take care of this case. That's what
I
we're going
want
to
to
do.
get everything taken care of. I'm just done and scared of just having to run every day. Being able to come and get arrested and go to jail. So.
Here's your bond conditions. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court or violate any law. You must appear in court as directed, no contact with the victim or prosecution witnesses. You cannot enter 23800 West Road in Brownstown or any CVS store. $25,000, 10% will be your bond. We'll set this for an early date. Is that the 8th, Lisa, or 9th? 8th, right?
The 8th.
And we'll do this at 8:45 in the morning. Is that good? Or you want another time? 8, yeah, we'll make it 8:45. Propose $2,500. Also, you cannot leave the state, cannot violate a law. You must appear in court as directed. I wish you well. Ms. McRipley, I'd like to talk to you how that went the other day before you
Okay.
leave here. And I wish you well, sir. You're making this so much worse than it needs to
No,
be.
you're assuming I'm done. I'm done running. I just turned 30 years old, so I'm ready to get my life back on track.
I'll see you Wednesday. Good luck. People, Robert James Briscoe. Robert James Briscoe, 17B81105. And I also, let's start with that one. Robert James Briscoe, is he in custody? Yes.
He is.
All right.
Morning, Your Honor. Mike Hill Crawford representing Mr. Briscoe.
Mr. Briscoe, your name?
Robert James Briscoe Jr.
All right, so let's start with the attempted concealing stolen property. That's what he's going to plead to, with the understanding that the retail fraud will be dismissed, correct?
Well, Your Honor, it's my understanding that the prosecution was amending the charge from retail fraud to concealing a stolen property. And then she would be dismissing the concealing stolen property. He'd be pleading guilty, well, I'm sorry, no contest to attempted concealing of stolen property.
Well, I don't mind if they just proceed. Why is there a no contest plea?
Well, case is 5 years old. He doesn't have a good recollection. And at the time, he was under the influence of a drug addiction. So it also affected.
So it's lack of memory.
Correct.
But I don't know if she needs to issue another citation. I'm fine with just amending the charge from retail fraud to attempt concealing stolen property. And then the stolen property, I'm sorry, the retail fraud to be dismissed. And that's kind of the way she wrote it up here.
Very good, Your Honor. Thank you.
So I will be fine with that as long as I have a police report. And it appears as though I do. I'm going to have that marked. Sir, do you understand what can you mark this people's one? Do you understand what your lawyer has just said?
Yes, sir.
You plead guilty or no contest to attempt concealing stolen property. It has the same effect as a guilty plea. The possible penalties are up to $250 in fines, 45 days jail. Costs are all of those. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir, Honor.
Did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights? Or I'm sorry, you're presumed innocent. They have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to a trial by court or jury. You have the right at that trial to question their witnesses, to bring in your own, to use the subpoena powers of the court to bring in those witnesses, to testify or remain silent. Choose to remain silent. That silence would not be held against you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
And again, a no contest plea has the same effect as a guilty plea. Do you understand all that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you stipulate I can use the police report to establish a factual basis?
So
The
stipulated.
charge, attempt to retail fraud. How do you wish to plead?
Guilty.
I thought you were going to plead no contest.
No contest.
I'm going to ask you again, to the charge attempt to retail
No
fraud.
contest.
I'm sorry, attempt, wait a minute, I apologize. To the charge attempt concealing stolen property, how do you plead?
No contest.
All right, I've had the report marked Peoples 1. I'm going to review it. Based upon my review of the report, I find there's a factual basis for the plea. Are you on probation or parole?
Right now?
Yes, sir.
No, sir. No.
Anybody force you to plead no contest?
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to accept the plea of no contest to the charge attempt concealing stolen property. I apologize. The retail fraud charge will be dismissed. Is he in custody just on this case or other cases, counsel?
It's my understanding that it's just this case, Your Honor.
He's been in for what? Since March the 6th. Well, I want to congratulate you, Mr. Briscoe. You
Thank you,
ignored the
Honor.
court and were so disrespectful of the court. You made certain that you were going to go to jail on this, and there was probably no reason for it. You know that?
Yes, sir. I know that.
It's been going on for 6 years,
I'm
right?
ready to get it. That's on my part. You know, I accept what I did wrong. And I'm just ready to get your, stop wasting your time, everyone's time, just get done over with. Except my,
Everybody's worried. Everybody's worried about my time. Why are they worried about my time? Everybody wants to worry. There's no reason to worry about my time. This is what I do for a living, right?
yes, sir.
I don't know what to do with him. If I set a sentence date, because I think we should have a pre-sentence or screening and assessment, he's not going to show up.
Right.
He doesn't like to show up. He's been doing this, playing this little game for 6 years. Does he have other warrants? You know?
Not that I'm aware of, Your Honor. And I don't know that my client can afford a
Well, wait a
tether.
minute. He's got 34th, 27th, and 1st.
Oh, okay. He's got holds.
Larceny of building in 13, larceny less than 213. Does he work?
Yeah.
No, Your Honor, he's not working.
No,
Oh, he
I-
is?
I
I'm
work.
sorry.
I'm a roofer.
You know how many roofers there are? I didn't know if there was enough roofs in the world to employ all the roofers.
I work for
You know
Napier,
that?
down in Brownstown.
When did you last work for them?
Well, we slow down in the winter, so we get a little
Just tell
time
me when
off.
you, hang on. Just tell me when you last worked for them.
I know it before December, before Christmas.
What day were you picked up on this warrant? Was it the 6th? Was that the day I set the bond, the day that you were arraigned?
Yeah, the one when I was in Brownstown, that was the day, or the day before.
How long were you in custody initially on this case? In other words, the offense was May the 9th. It looks like you were arraigned by Judge Kirsten on May 10th of 2017. It looks like he gave you a bond of $3,010%.
Yep.
Lisa, can you tell from looking at the register when that bond was posted? And I'll look for it on here. There's so many bond receipts in here. Yeah, it looks like May the 12th, it was when it was run up. So you had about 3 days, 9, 10, 11. You paid, you spent 4 days in jail on that.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And now you've been in custody for since the 6th, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is 5, 9. Today's the 14th day. Is that fair? Is that accurate? Or am I missing something? I'm asking you a question, sir.
Oh yeah, no, I've been in here for almost a week.
I know you have. I'm trying to calculate all the good time credit or the credit that you have toward any jail term. And I want to make sure that 14 days, you haven't spent more than 14
No.
days at any time.
No, sir.
I'm not just talking about in the last week. I'm talking about since the inception of the case. You never spent more than 14 days on this?
Nothing like this, just when I got picked up on my warrants and stuff like that.
Listen to my question. Do you have any basis to say you've spent more than 14 days in jail on this
No, sir.
case, including the last 7 days?
No, sir.
Anything else, Mr. Crawford?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
So you're probably going to get yourself in a pickle and not pay your fines and have to serve an additional 31 days. I'm assessing fines at 200, costs of 200, 75 victims' rights fee, $50 justice assessment, 500 and a quarter in 14 days, credit 14. You'll serve 31 more if you don't pay your fines. I'm going to let you pay these at the rate of $30 a week. I'll start this beginning March the 31. If you don't have the money, if you need more time right now, just tell me, Judge, I can't start paying until April 7th or 14th, whatever the case may be.
Oh, I can start paying. This sounds perfect. What you're saying right now, Your Honor, is perfect. You're fine.
Now, if
I'm
you
ready to
don't
get
have
it
the
done.
money, listen to me, listen very carefully. If you don't have the money on March 31 or April 7 or April 14 or April 21 or April 28 or May the 5th, 12th, 9th, 19th, 26th, or the 2nd of June, you don't have the money, you call the court or come into the court on or before the due date at 8:30, you'll go in front of me. I'll be happy to give you an extension. If you don't do that and you don't pay and you're brought in on a warrant, I'm not going to have any mercy. Fair?
Fair.
You have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal, 30 a week, starting March the 31. So deputy, you can release him now. He is a lucky man because he's been ignoring us for 6 years. I'm trusting he won't do that again. And he will go over to the courts that I mentioned and take care of those, won't you, Mr. Briscoe?
Yes, I will.
I'm just telling you, you don't do that. You make that things a lot worse, right?
Sounds
Right?
good. Yes, sir.
A lot worse if you don't show up. Judges don't like this nonsense. Good luck. People against Sherry Haywood, file number 22B141818A. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Deborah Schlossel on behalf of the defendant Tanisha Haywood, who is to my right.
Ma'am, your name, please?
Tanisha Haywood.
All right, so I have a violation of the no contact provision. I want to just, I need to check through.
Your Honor, we don't have a no contact.
I'm sorry, I
It's okay.
apologize. I
It's okay.
apologize. I'm on that last case. Failing to refrain from consuming alcohol or drugs, testing positive for alcohol on February 20th, 23. That is the charge. And she has one prior technical, which means if she were to plead guilty or if she's found guilty, she could get 10 days. So that being said, how's she going to proceed here for purposes?
So, Your Honor, she is aware that she could get 10 days. Your Honor, we are pleading guilty with an explanation.
All right, and I'm sure you did, but I just want to double check. You did enter another appearance here today, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Put it under his phone.
Good, okay. So do you understand, call in, Ms. O'Donnell. You understand what your lawyer has just said, ma'am?
Yes,
If you plead guilty, you could get 10 days. Do you understand that?
yes,
Did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
yes,
If
Your
you
Honor.
plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights and there will be no hearing. Do you understand that?
Yes,
All right, to the charge that you failed to refrain from consuming alcohol, testing positive on February 20th, 23, how do you plead?
guilty.
Did you consume alcohol, say, within 72 hours of that date?
Yes,
Anybody force you to plead guilty?
no,
And I ordered you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs, correct?
yes,
All right, I'm going to accept your plea. I found it to be an accurate plea made voluntarily and understanding. The plea is accepted. Counsel, first of all, Ms. O'Donnell, your name?
Let's go down to probation, Your Honor.
So let me check here. I want to see when the prior was. This is not working very well. This was, I guess it was in November, but still, that was another consumption case. I put her on probation on October 12th for 13 months of 22. The name is expired to run out on, it's scheduled to expire on November 12th of 23. That being said, what do you have to say?
So, Your Honor, I understand that it's not good that it's a second one and she shouldn't have any, but I want to remind Your Honor, this was a first drunk driving, and also sometimes relapse is part of recovery. My client had a very traumatic event happen in her life, which is the loss of her father, with whom she was very close. He had cancer, and then he got through it. And unfortunately, he had several strokes and diabetes, and he died. The first time that she drank, the first violation was when her father got admitted into hospice. And unfortunately, was it January? January or December?
December.
December, he passed away. And she realizes now that she has issues with grief. She was, a friend came over to her house, brought alcohol, and that friend started talking about what a tough year she's had and about what happened with her father. And all the emotions came rushing back that she thought she was getting through. And that's why she drank, Your Honor. She knows that's not an excuse and that you shouldn't medicate with alcohol. She has gotten a counselor who is going to treat her for not only alcohol addiction, but also for grief. She's going to be going twice a week. Your Honor, I also want to point out that there is a page 2 on the violation, which says failed to provide written verification of attending
I
outpatient
apologize.
substance abuse treatment.
And she's going to plead to that as well?
Well, Your Honor, with that one, she has been going regularly, was it 1 to 2 times a week?
Okay, but hang on a second.
Once a week. And they have not been providing the verification. And Your Honor, I don't want to speak for the probation officer, but I know that my client goes to Detroit Recovery once a week on West Grand Boulevard. And she has stated that her probation officer, and you can vouch for me if it's true, and you can deny it if it's not true, but that they are notorious, right, for not providing verification.
I
that
have had
particular
issues
center.
with Detroit Recovery, and I know Miss Hayward, when she initially had got into treatment over there, they had scheduled her with a therapist that then all of a sudden no longer worked there, so she had an issue with scheduling for a while. When I last talked to her, she told me she had done an intake over there back in December, she had finally got to talk to somebody. I just haven't received anything from them. I've got no verification written.
And she's been going once a week since December, Your Honor.
I
And
know, but we need to see proof of it, though. I mean, that's.
Your Honor, I will make
You
a
don't
call
know
over
that
there.
because you weren't there, and she's telling you that, and I have no reason to doubt her word, but we need proof. I mean, it's that simple.
Your Honor, if she will sign a release, I will call over there and see if they can send
I
it to
mean,
the
I'm
court.
not saying that doesn't mitigate it. The fact that they're notorious, as you put it, for not providing verification, but I still need to have a disposition. So is she gonna plead guilty, or does she want to have a hearing?
Well, Your Honor, I mean, on
Doesn't
that
matter to
one,
me. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know that we want to plead, I know that
Alright.
it's an all or nothing,
We'll
but
just-
on that one, Your Honor, she's, I mean, wouldn't you agree that have you had other people where they haven't
Listen,
provided?
I get it. I'm not
Alright.
saying that, but that's mitigating, right? It's a mitigating factor. I don't know what else to put it. I'm not gonna dismiss that violation. You're saying she went once a week because she's telling you that. I have no proof of that. Ms. O'Donnell doesn't know. So I've either got to have a guilty plea or we're gonna have a hearing. I'm not. trying to
Well,
make
Your
a
Honor,
bigger issue.
on that one, could we adjourn it so that we can try and see what, maybe if I could?
I'll adjourn it a week or two, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm accepting the plea to count 1. I'll just say not guilty plea entered as to count 2. And then you can, we can come back and you can get proof. And I'm gonna make a note. Defendant says attending outpatient 1 time per week.
And she's just starting with a new therapist also, Your Honor, for
But
everything that's going on in her
I
life.
need another page of a register. You got another blank page now. Not a first page, a second page. So,
And I think, Your Honor, she realizes she probably should have gotten a grief therapy earlier, and she is dealing with that now. You will not see her again on that other one,
what other one?
on the first one.
What do you mean I won't see her again?
I mean, you will not see her violating again.
Well, you're making promises here that you really can't legitimately make, right? How do I know
An
that?
attorney would never do that.
I know, well, they shouldn't if they don't have proof of it. I mean, come on, you can't.
Your
say-
Honor, I think she realizes she could go to jail, and I think she realizes also what the root of this is, and that she needs to treat that. And she, on her own, before she even hired me, has taken affirmative steps to resolve this. And I'm asking you, Your Honor, on that, to give her another chance. And
Give her
let's do
another
a
chance.
3 strikes and you're out policy.
I'm gonna adjourn this. You said you want me to.
I know, but Your Honor, is there a possibility we could deal with this first one?
Why do I want to deal? I'm gonna deal with it all
Okay,
at once.
all right.
Listen, the charge, give me some credit, Ms. Schlessel.
I give you a lot of credit. You know, you're one of my favorite
I
judges.
know, but listen, give me some credit. I don't want a lot of credit, but I want a little credit. It's a technical violation of failure to failure to provide proof of attending treatment. You're offering a valid explanation. I'm going to give you your choice. I'm going to either say, yes, I'll give you an adjournment so we can address count 2, or if she wants to plead guilty or have a hearing as to whether or not she provided verification, I'll do that. Hang on, let me finish. I want you to listen to me. But if, like as an example, in the face of what I've heard, am I going to jump up and down and say, well, no, I don't believe her. I don't think she's provided proof because she wasn't going? Boy, that'd be a horrible leap in logic for a judge to make. But I still need a disposition on it. It's either a hearing, a plea, or I'll give you the adjournment. I'm going to take into account what you're saying. I'm going to be reasonable with her, but I'm not going to make an assumption that she's going once a week. I'm just going to make a note. Defendant says she was going once per week. But I'm not going to fight you on an adjournment either, if that's what you want. If you want to give, if you want me to give you an adjournment, I'll do that.
I think we need to do that, Your Honor, so she can get the documentation.
I don't think it's if she can get it in the next 2 weeks, she should have been able to get it in the last 4 months. That's just one guy's opinion.
That's my concern, Your Honor.
All right.
And my concern is not that she's not going. I do believe she's going. And do you believe she's going?
I do know at one point she was going. I don't know if her attendance has continued.
Can I be honest with you? So I'm gonna, Ms. Schlossel, you can write this down right now. I can tell by her body language that she's not going once a week. I'm telling you right now.
From body language?
Take it however you want to take it. Write it down. Come back here in 2 weeks. And I'm telling you, you're going to say, Judge, you were right. You're going to tell me that. You're going to tell me that, isn't she? Isn't she?
Can I say something?
You really shouldn't. I shouldn't have asked you that either because your lawyer wants an adjournment. I want to accommodate. I think we're making a little too much of this personally, but I'm not gonna fight anybody on a lawyer, but I know I'm right because I've been doing this so long. I hate to sound like I think I'm smart because I don't, but I know what's going on with people and I can tell. I'm telling you, I'm rarely wrong on these things. Rarely. And if that makes it sound like, if I'm making it sound like I'm arrogant, I apologize. That is not my intent. I don't have an arrogant bone in my body, but I know.
Your Honor, I have this experience with you, and I know you are an excellent reader of what's going on.
I know my craft. I'll tell you that.
You do, Your Honor.
But
and
anyway,
I don't think that's arrogance. Your Honor, can I ask instead of 2 weeks, could it be the morning of the 27th instead?
Why are you pushing it out further and further?
Because I'll tell you why, because my 13th and 20th are crazy.
Okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do another day. We can do the 21st, 22nd.
If we did the 21st, could it be in the afternoon?
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
All right.
I'll do that for you.
I have an exam in Ann Arbor.
No problem. I'll make it March 21 and we'll do it at 2:30 p.m. Fair enough? Is that good?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you write down what I said to you?
It's written in my head in stone.
No, I want you to write it down because I want you to come back and say, Judge, you were right. She's not been going once a week. Yes, they are difficult perhaps to get documentation from, but she's not been going once a week. I could tell by the look on her face. We'll see you here on that date, and then you can tell me I was right. Have a good day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nice to see you again.
And I'm giving you a personal bond, and I expect you to keep testing. Good luck. Tanisha Marie Haywood, 222-1418188. Okay, Ms. O'Donnell, your appearance.
On behalf of Probation.
Fussell, your appearance.
Good afternoon, Deborah Schlossel on behalf of the defendant, Tanisha Haywood.
Ms. Haywood, your name.
Tanisha Haywood.
Defendant pled guilty as to count 1. Back on March the 6th, failure to refrain from consuming alcohol. She pled not guilty to failure to provide written verification of attending outpatient substance abuse treatment. I provided the defense with the opportunity to get the records, and she said she was going 1 time per week. Are you ready to proceed on count 2, or is there going to be a guilty plea?
Your Honor, we would respectfully ask for one more adjournment.
No, I'm not going to adjourn it again.
Your Honor, the probation officer has spoken with the place where my client was going, and there was an issue with my client's information being released to the probation officer.
Tell me what you heard, Ms. O'Donnell.
Yep, so I heard from Mr. Hobson over at Detroit Recovery Project just about a half hour ago. He called me. He confirmed to me that Ms. Haywood has been in treatment there. She's attended about 5 sessions since
5
January
sessions.
21st of 2023. Correct, but he's also stated that those 5 sessions she's attended are involved in what's called recovery support services and not technically outpatient treatment services. He was able to confirm with me as well as he checked the system that she was in the system. She was supposed to be in the system as outpatient substance abuse treatment, but for whatever reason, she was scheduled for this recovery support services instead.
I ordered this October 12th.
She did her evaluation on November 11th of 2022 with DWIN and was scheduled with Detroit Recovery Project. It took them this long to get her scheduled in. I believe Ms. Haywood actually had COVID somewhere in between this time, so there was a bit of a.
Well, I don't need an adjournment. We don't need an adjournment. Is there anything more that you're going to get besides that?
Well, Your Honor, I would like to elucidate a little bit
listen,
more on that,
listen.
elaborate.
Listen, this show cause has been pending since February 22nd. She told me she was going 1 time per week. She did not say she was going 1 time per week since January. Nowhere on this record does that, listen.
Your Honor, she said that she's been going since December. She did get sick and had COVID.
Listen,
And
listen. There's no reason for me to adjourn this again. I'm not going to adjourn this again. She should have gotten the records.
Your Honor, she did go
I'm
down
not
there.
gonna, your request for an adjournment is denied.
Okay, but
You
Your
can either
Honor,
have, you can either have the hearing now as to count 2, or she can plead guilty as to count 2, and then I'm gonna sentence.
Your Honor, she wants to plead not guilty.
Raise your right hand, Ms. O'Donnell. You solemnly swear or affirm the penalties of perjury, the testimony you will give in these proceedings will be the whole true self. You got it.
I do, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
All right, yep, so like I said, the only verification I've gotten that she's in treatment is what I just told you today, what I received from Mr. Hobson via phone. I told him that I did need something written verification of every session she's attended.
And again, I want you to repeat what he said.
He stated that she has attended 5 sessions since January 21st of 2023. He stated that on file, he could tell that she completed her evaluation on November 11th of 2022. He stated that she's in some kind of counseling referred to as recovery support services, which is not technically outpatient substance abuse services at Detroit Recovery. He also admitted though that that was at fault of Detroit Recovery Project. They did have her in the system and she was supposed to be in outpatient treatment for whatever reason. She was scheduled in recovery support services instead. She admitted that that was on fault of them, and that they would have.
One of the court orders was that the defendant had to attend 3 times AANA until in treatment. You're telling me that the information imparted to you indicated that she began her treatment on January 21 of 23, true?
True.
How many times, give me the AA verification. How many times she went and until when?
The only AA verification I have from her was from back in October. It shows 4 meetings from October 19th to October 28th.
So 4 meetings until October 28th. She went to her evaluation November 11. You have no proof of AA attendance between October 28th of 2022 and January 21 of 23.
No, I do not, Your Honor.
And there's no proof of any treatment between January 11th, the time of the evaluation, and the time that she began treatment, January 21 of 23.
I was not able to verify.
So we have only, I would just want to be clear. I sentenced her, for the record, on October 12th. I told her to attend AANA 3 times a week. You have proof that she attended 4 times after that sentence.
Correct.
You have no proof that she attended any treatment until January 21 of 23.
As of this moment.
Any questions of her?
I'm sorry, what, your last name is O'Brien?
It's O'Donnell.
O'Donnell, I am sorry, Ms. O'Donnell. Isn't it true that my client had COVID last year?
Correct. I'm not sure the exact timeline of it, but she did tell me that she had.
And so she was not able to attend those meetings when she had COVID, correct?
Correct, but she could have attended the meeting for AA or NA.
And isn't it true that she did try to get into this program, but they could not see her until a certain point?
That's correct. I was able to confirm with someone at Detroit Recovery Project that there was an issue with a clinician at the time and they had to reschedule her more than once.
All
This
right,
was back in November, I believe.
okay. And isn't it true that once she was scheduled in, she did go every week?
I was never able to get written verification from Detroit Recovery Project to prove that.
But did the officer or the official of this organization confirm to you over the phone that she did, and he called you, correct?
He did.
All right, so it sounded like we had somebody fake calling up and impersonating, correct?
No.
All right, and you were able to verify that he was who he said he was, correct?
Correct.
All right, and he did verify verbally that she attended once a week, beginning on the January date, once she was intook, I don't know.
The only verification he told me that was 5 sessions since January 21st.
All right.
The court will
So,
take notice that's 62 days.
all right, and that's, so 5 times in 62 days.
January the 11th, or sorry, January the 21st or 11th?
January the 21st.
All right, so that's 10, that's 38, that's 59 days up through today.
Your Honor, I think that's close to 1 per week, and my client.
Just finish your question.
Okay.
You can argue all you want when you're
All
done.
right. Has my client tried to evade her responsibilities in any way in your experience?
So far, Ms. Haywood, I think, has been very honest with me. She's admitted to anytime she's used alcohol with me, she's attended all of her sessions. She's completed everything with me, including most of her work program days, excuse me. She only has 1 more day scheduled out in April to finish. It's just getting the verification of her outpatient treatment that's been the struggle so far in her current alcohol use.
And other than that, she's been cooperative and open with you,
So
correct?
that's correct.
All right. And you don't believe she's trying to get out of doing her probation and complying with the court's orders, correct?
Correct.
All right. Your Honor, I have no further.
You want to question me on that?
Are you now going to be a witness, Your
Are
Honor?
you going to, well, I'm disappointed.
Mhm.
I knew that she wouldn't have fulfilled these obligations. She's going to shake her head again. It doesn't mean until an evaluation you get to stop. So let me just be upfront here. 59 days, there are 8.5 weeks. She assured me she'd been going once per week. She went to AA 4 times. As far as I'm concerned, she should have gone 3 times per week between October the 12th and the time that she began treatment, which was January the 21st. The intake doesn't mean you get to stop for 2 months. So over 3 months, in that time period, she should have gone a minimum of 36 times. She didn't. She said she was going to treatment once per week. She didn't. So, and now she's tested positive for the 2nd time. So I'm not real happy about this. If you want to have her testify, you can. If you want to just argue now, you can. It's up to you.
Your Honor, I think I would like to ask her some questions. For the
Okay,
record.
raise your right hand, ma'am. You solemnly swear or affirm under penalties of perjury that the testimony you will give in these proceedings will be the whole truth, so help you God.
Yes. Say yes.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Go ahead.
Ms. Haywood, did you have trouble enrolling into the Detroit Recovery Program?
No,
All right.
I didn't
Well,
hear you.
no.
but wasn't there an issue was there an issue with regard to getting you into their system and intake?
It was conflict of time.
Did they have did they have a therapist that you were supposed to see that quit?
Wait a minute. This is, you can't confer with your lawyer now. You're testifying.
Because it's not accurate.
Your Honor,
Yeah, it's not
I will have
accurate.
my client testify to what happened then. Tell the court what happened.
I did my intake October 19th. And then after that, I did my work things for 3 Saturdays. We're supposed to go on Saturday. That was in November.
Do you mean the court work program?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I went the last Saturday of November, I don't remember the day, and I had COVID symptoms, so they sent me home. And then
The
I
court work
went,
program sent you home?
Detroit Recovery?
Detroit Recovery sent me home that
Wait a
day.
minute, maybe I misunderstood. You did the court work program in November?
I did it for 3 days.
So then you said they sent me home. Who's
For
they?
the first time I went to Detroit Recovery for the first session of the group, they sent me home.
Was that on November the 21st or was that the evaluation?
No,
I'm
my
sorry, November the
evaluation.
11th or the first session of treatment?
I got my evaluation October 19th. I have text messages of when we had a scheduled day. I have it in text messages.
I hadn't even, okay, so you're telling me 1 week after, 1 week after I sent you, you had your evaluation.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
And then after that, Mr. Killings, he asked me what days could I come, because he told me to come on Tuesday. And then I went there for that following Tuesday, and then they told me I was in the wrong group. They sent me home. And then
Let's just slow down. So October 19th, can anybody tell me was what day of the week? It should have been probably a Wednesday. So you're telling me October 19th is the day you had your evaluation, correct?
That is a Wednesday.
Okay, so then you went there when?
Okay, so we did the evaluation Wednesday. He told me that the first group was on Tuesday, which would be the 25th.
Okay.
I went there, it started at 4:30. I went there right after work. They told me I was in the wrong group. Because Mr. Killings told me to come there, which he does not work there anymore. He stopped working there a couple weeks after I started.
So what was that, for intensive outpatient treatment, did they tell you?
They didn't tell.
I ordered outpatient, not intensive outpatient. So you're throwing me when you say I was in the wrong group.
Sir,
Your Honor, I
they,
can clarify that. Ms. Haywood, you were sentenced to do an outpatient class and they sent you into a recovery class, isn't that
yeah, but
correct?
I didn't know that. He
Right.
did my intake.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah,
So
so,
that was October 25th.
and they
right.
sent you to the wrong class, correct?
They sent me to the wrong class.
Okay,
But I
fair
had
enough.
a different person at the time.
Okay, then what happened next?
So he said, he was like, well, we meet up on Wednesdays. And I said, well, he said Thursday. And I said, well, I have school on Thursdays. And then he was like, well, we meet up on Saturday. And I said, I could do Saturday, but I have a work court for 3 weeks.
The court work program.
Okay,
So after I did that, I had went on it had to be the 26th of November. And they asked me, did I have any COVID symptoms? And I told them I had a headache, body aches, and they sent me home. So then after that, my first day that I attended, first day fully, was December 3rd. And I remember that because my dad passed a couple hours after that. I remember that. And I've been going ever since. It's not January, it's December. And I did miss the first 2 weeks of January because I had COVID.
Your Honor, I don't think she's trying to evade the court's.
wait a minute.
I'm not.
Wait a minute.
I've been doing everything
No,
right.
you're
except-
not. No, you're not.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Okay.
I'm not gonna have this emotional argument going on,
I understand.
okay? We're gonna deal with facts right now,
Okay.
okay? So December 3rd, and I'm sorry about your father, he passed, and that was the first day of your treatment, correct?
First day.
Did you go on December 10th?
I went on December 10th.
Pardon?
I did go on
Did
December
you go on
10th.
December 17th?
I did.
Did you go the week of Christmas?
No, they
there?
were closed.
So you went December 3rd, 10th, and 17th, correct?
Yes, they gave me
Slow down.
toys for my children.
I just
that
want to
day.
I don't need to hear that. I just want to know, is that when you went?
Yes, sir.
Did you go on or about December the 31st, 29th,
They were
28th?
closed.
Did you go on January the 7th?
I had COVID.
I thought you said you had COVID back on November 26th.
I had symptoms and they sent me home, sir.
So you had COVID twice within 5 weeks?
No, sir. I said I had COVID symptoms. They sent me home because I was having symptoms.
Did you
I
go
didn't say
get
I had
tested
COVID.
when they told you?
I
that?
did, and I sent them the test. It was negative.
Okay, so then when did you get COVID?
I got COVID, was it December 28th? I sent that to you, Jessica.
Do you have that?
I do not have that on me. It could be in my emails. I don't have it printed out though.
Do you want her to go look at her emails?
I could look at mine.
We'll look.
Go look.
All right, I'll be right back around.
And when you find it, you can go ahead and tell me.
Right.
I'm not sure, Ms. Schlessel, while she's looking at that, why the probation officer's just finding all this information out a half an hour ago. I mean, we adjourned this from March the 6th so that the defendant could get the records.
Your Honor, that is correct.
Did she tell them, did somebody tell them we wanted the records?
Yes, so Your Honor, let me explain. My client did go there personally, in person, physically, and she signed a release so that Jessica could get them. Unfortunately, Jessica did not receive them. I think there is a problem with this facility. And I told her the lesson is stop going there, go to a new facility. Because she did fill out a release, I think maybe even more than once, but she definitely did it after the last court date.
All
And
right.
she thought everything was going to be released to Jessica, but Jessica told her, no, I didn't get
You
that.
need
So
to follow up. You need to
we
follow-
did. So Your Honor, we went to go talk to Jessica
Wait a
and
minute, let's stop this a second, okay?
Mhm.
Let's tell me about, what day did you stopped looking at your phone? Was it December 28th you had COVID?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you next go to treatment?
The next time I went to treatment was I want to say it's the 21st of January.
So wait a second.
And they would jibe with the date that Jessica stated.
So now you've gone 4 times. When is the next time you went to treatment?
The week after that.
I'm sorry?
The week after.
So you're saying you went January the 28th?
Hmm?
Yes?
Yes. Sorry, yes.
When is the next time you went to treatment?
The 11th.
Of February?
Yes.
When is the next time you went to treatment?
I went a couple of Mondays too. I'm just trying to remember.
Don't guess. Do not guess. This is not Jeopardy.
Didn't go to 18th because I wasn't feeling well. I didn't go the 25th because my lights was off.
Because what?
My lights was off. So I went the 27th, which was a Monday.
When did you next go? And I don't want you to guess. I want to be clear. I want to make sure.
The next one will be the 6th. I went right after court.
March 6th.
Yes.
When did you next go?
I didn't go after that because he told me I was wasting my time going.
Wasting your time.
Yeah, he said he wasn't getting paid for me going.
You don't have insurance?
I do have insurance. They kicked me out the system. This is what we're trying to tell you.
I didn't hear anybody ever say to me anything about payment either before or now. Has anybody ever brought that up? Be careful, please.
I didn't bring it up yet, Your Honor, but I was going
Well,
to.
wait a
The
minute,
last
wait a
time-
minute, wait. I want to say this. She just made a statement. Words to me matter. You just said that's what we're trying to tell you. I didn't hear it today, and I didn't hear it last time. So when you make the statement that that's what we're trying to tell you, it would lead any reasonably prudent person to believe that you told me that before. If somebody tells me something, believe me, I overwhelmingly remember that. Now, if you're telling me that I was told that before, I will pull that tape right now and I will go back and listen to whether or not somebody told me that the insurance was not making the payment, and that is why you stopped going, because he wasn't going to treat you anymore.
May I respond, Your Honor?
Wait a minute. I want to be clear about this. There's statements being made that I take exception with.
Your Honor,
I said, I'm not done.
I'm sorry.
I am not done. When somebody tells me something, I expect it to be truthful. That's what I expect. I don't care about expectations about other people that are fortunate enough to don this robe. I could care less. I don't care if they think that substantial truthfulness is okay or some truthfulness is okay. I'm here to tell you I don't. It got to be in 1995 if somebody told me that they caught a 8-inch fish, perch, they at least caught a 3-inch bluegill. Now I've got people telling me they caught a 32-inch salmon when they caught nothing. Let me see what you've got over there,
Your
Mr.
Honor, may I
Tom.
respond to this?
You can respond,
All right,
but let's be careful about the words that we're choosing.
absolutely.
That's what we're trying to tell you.
Your Honor,
Nobody ever told me that.
You're right, Your Honor, and your memory is excellent. We're not saying that.
I'm not trying to show that I have an excellent
No,
memory. I'm
and
trying to get people to be truthful.
And we get that, Your Honor, and we have no desire
Take
to
this
pull the
back.
wool over anyone's eyes, and you're the last person we would be able to do that with, even if we wanted to. Your Honor, what happened was we were gonna have a hearing last time, and at that time, we were going to tell you about how my clients had these issues with the insurance, but you said either we're pleading guilty or we're holding the hearing, or we were gonna move it off to get the documentation. And I tried to tell you some of this, but you said either we're having the hearing now or we're not, save it for the hearing. And so since we did schedule it for today, I was going to get to that. We just didn't get to that yet, Your Honor. It's not like we're trying to lie to you or claim we told you something when we didn't. We didn't tell you. We were going to. And
She
Your Honor,
just
my
said
client,
that's what we've been trying to tell you.
well,
That's what
because
she
I
said.
was going to try and say that to you. It's not that I did successfully try. I didn't because we rescheduled and we were going to do it today.
I
I
have-
think she artfully said that in the wrong way. We didn't mean to insult your intelligence or memory.
So
Your
you mean
Honor,
to tell me since the 6th of March, she did not go back because on the 6th of March, she was told that the therapist was not getting paid. Is that true or false?
Tanisha, tell him what happened.
So I had called him because I kept telling him that my probation needed proof that I had been there. So he called me a couple days later and he said that for some reason, I was kicked out the system. I was in the wrong program. And he said that since I was in the wrong program, my insurance wasn't covering it. So I was basically going for nothing.
I don't know what this means.
Your Honor, I can explain. There's something wrong with this Detroit recovery. She's going to switch to a new place.
I called Jessica right after I
can-
got the phone with him. Like,
I have tried calling Mr. Hobson in the past. I've left messages for him. When he contacted me today, I informed him, hey, I've left messages for you regarding this client, or you haven't called me back. He stated he never received my calls, he was unaware. He only called me out today because Ms. Haywood has been reaching out to him multiple times, stating to him that he needs to contact me. I've stated to him too that I need all of this in writing as soon as possible, because we are in a hearing currently regarding all of this, and that I've needed this in the past as well.
And also, Your Honor, I think Jessica has stated at the last time you were here that my client is not the only one that has had issues with that agency.
I remember
Is that
her
correct?
saying that.
All right, and
So let's not approve of anybody going to the Detroit Recovery Center again. You can tell Ms. Wilds I said that. If they're too busy to give us documentation or too unorganized to give us documentation or any combination thereof, I don't want to use them.
I don't refer people there.
Good.
Yeah.
Tell Ms. Wilds I said, I don't want any of the probation people that I have going to the Detroit Recovery Center if this is such an ongoing problem. That's number one. But I still get back to the fact. Well, first of all, we've got a discrepancy. She told me she went every week. She did not go every week. There was no mention of COVID or these other things before.
Your Honor.
Let me finish. Let me finish. On her testimony today, she's gone 8 times. 8 times. 12/3, 12/10, 12/17, January 21, 28, February 11, 27. Now, we had the hearing March 6th. She says she went after that, correct?
yes,
On March the 6th.
yes,
That means she had gone 7 times. I put her on probation back on October the 12th. She only went to AA 4 times. That's what she did. She didn't start going to treatment on anybody's account. I guess she was told October 25th she was in the wrong group session. But then she didn't go again until December the 3rd. She goes there November 26th. They ask if she has COVID symptoms. She either does or doesn't test. She leaves. But there's at least a gap where she only went to her first meeting on December the 3rd after having been sentenced on October the 12th and told to go to AA 3 times per week, when she should have gone up to about 24 sessions. She only went to 4. And then she's telling me once per week. Wait a minute, let me finish. You want to interrupt me. I'm telling you how I think. I told you what I thought before. I had no proof that there was treatment. You insisted you went once a week. Your lawyer told me you went once a week. She guaranteed it. I said, fine. I'll let it slide. I'll give you another court date so you can get the treatment records. Now you show up. You still don't have the treatment records. Now there's still a discrepancy between Detroit Recovery, what they're telling me, and what you're telling me. And when I say what they're telling me, what they told a probation officer of this court, which as far as I'm concerned, is the same as them telling me directly.
Your Honor, can I?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So she is lacking in doing what she's supposed to do. And what troubles me is she's insisting she did the right things when she tested positive twice. And I maintain, as you know, treatment is not intended to be a punishment. Under no circumstance is it intended to be a punishment. It is intended to be a rehabilitation tool. Why? So people don't test positive. Now, under no judge's strained interpretation would anybody, in my view, say, oh, she's compliant. She's done what she's supposed to do to carry out the court's order. And while she insists all these things and makes it sound in her own way like I'm being unreasonable, I'm not being unreasonable. I don't expect people to bend rules. I don't expect people to tell me half-truths. When somebody tells me they've been going once a week, I expect that from the time they stopped going to AA, they were treating once per week from that point forward. When is the last AA attendance?
October 28th, Your Honor.
So from October 28th until March the 21st, we can all agree there's 5 months. That means somebody should have gone 20 times, not 8 times, including March the 6th. So at the best case scenario, she went 7 times while she told me she was going once per week on March the 6th, which again was 4.5 months after the order was entered. And she'd only gone to AA 4 times. So let's stop acting like we are so fully compliant that the judge is picking on me. Let's stop that right now. The judge is not picking on you. This judge does not care for people who are untruthful. And you've not been truthful. And when you're not truthful, guess what? I'm going to call you out on it. So let's get past all this and just admit we did not comply with the court's order. Let's stop blaming Detroit Recovery Center. Yes, they may not be as diligent as any court would want them to be. But nobody said anything to me about not attending anymore because of insurance. Now, if you just answer my questions, I'm not trying to trick you, but it will prevent you, believe it or not, from getting yourself into deeper water by making statements that are not truthful. Don't roll your eyes at me. Don't roll your eyes at me. Did you hear what I said, ma'am?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Now let's start over. Do you still want to argue that she's been attending treatment as ordered?
No, but
Okay.
Your Honor, can I say something to the court? Because I think part of this is my fault and I don't want my client to take the blame for something I did. So, Your Honor, I do have to admit to the court that when we were here the last time, when I said she'd been going once per week, that's what I thought based on our discussions earlier. But when and then she said to me, no, it wasn't once per week, but that was after we already left the room. And you had said, Your Honor, that we're not going to have the hearing today, we're going to have it the next time. So that's on me.
I let you make the call, but I had 2 issues with that, Ms. Schlussel. Well, I appreciate you. You made a statement to me that you guarantee she went, and I knew she didn't go once a week. I remember it vividly, and I could tell by looking at her that she knew she hadn't gone once a week. I gave you guys every opportunity to get the records and to prove to me that she went once per week. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not impressed with this, Ms. Haywood. I don't know why the word isn't out, because you will get so much further with me. People will, when they come in and just admit, Judge, I don't know why I didn't do it. You look funny. I don't take you seriously. I didn't feel like going. I had a chance to go to San Francisco for 3 weeks. I had a chance to go to Naples, Florida for 3 weeks, and I took that. Even though I know I should have asked you to leave the state, I did it. People will get so much further with, but when they shade the truth and then they start acting like I'm being the unreasonable one, that I did not appreciate in 1995. I don't appreciate in 2023, and I won't appreciate it in 2030, God willing.
And
So
you're-
stop.
We're not trying to shade the truth, Your Honor. She admits that she did not go every
Good.
week. And
Good. We could have
And
got to
you're-
that at the beginning of the hearing last time or the beginning of the hearing this time.
Your Honor, part of that was my fault and my misunderstanding of what happened. Your Honor, and we do realize that we do have excuses for why she didn't go when she had COVID and when they told her to leave. And we do realize, Your Honor, we do admit that she should have probably made a much harder effort to please the court and to help herself.
It's not to please the court.
And well, to help herself.
It's not to please the court. I'm trying to help this young lady.
I know you are, and
And
she
they-
knows you
And
are.
they don't think that. They just think I just want to make them go out of their way to do things that they don't want to do.
Your Honor, she doesn't think that. Your Honor, she's just had a lot of emotional turmoil with her father.
I can respect that.
And
I
Your-
can respect that. How old are you?
35.
I lost my father when I was 27. I still think about him all the time, and you will when you're an old person like I am now. I understand that. And I look at his picture every day on this wall over here. He was my hero. I understand that. Here's what I'm doing. I'm finding you guilty of failure to attend treatment as alleged. I'm going to listen to anything else that you have to say, and then I'm going to go from there. Do you have anything else to say?
Yes, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, my client is truly sorry. She knows that it's not all on the Detroit Recovery Center, but there were some issues with that, and I think the court is right to not allow the use of that organization. She has already looked for a new organization to go to do intake and to start doing therapy with. She wants to do that. She's very sincere, Your Honor. It's, I didn't see the facial expressions. Saw them, Your Honor. I'm side by side with my client. But I can tell you this, she's under a lot of stress. She has a lot going on. And she's just struggling to survive, Your Honor. And her father dying, it's so soon, it was so raw. And Your Honor, I lost my dad also. And I know you know how it is, I know how it is. And especially when it's so fresh, which it was for her,
Screaming.
it's very difficult. Your Honor, I am asking you, please, to give her another chance. Here's what I would propose to the court. And my client, I think, supports this. She would like to enroll in a different organization. She will get the record. She's going to attend every week. She's not going to have excuses. She's done the court work program. She can't use that as an excuse. She is better now from COVID. She can't use that as an excuse. She will show you, and I will make sure that she shows you, Your Honor, that she's going to do everything the court requires, and she will show it with fervor and earnestness. Your Honor, that's what I'm asking. I think if you were to send her to jail, the both times she drank, that's on her, and we're not making excuses, but I would ask you to consider the context. The first time was because of her father and everything that happened, and at that time he was dying and in hospice. And the second time was she was mourning her dad, and a friend came over and brought alcohol, which should not have happened. And the friend started bringing up her dad and making her feel bad, and that she made a mistake of using that to medicate. And that we do admit, we wanted to plead, when we were here last time, we wanted to plead guilty to that part of it, Your Honor. And we never lied about her using alcohol a second time. We were honest with that. And Jessica has stated that my client was honest about it to her as well. Your Honor, she is honest. She does want to get better. She just has a lot going on right now with the mourning of her dad, it being so fresh. And I am asking you to give her another chance with a new organization. I think if you sent her to jail, she could lose her job, she could lose everything, and it would be, I'm sorry. Oh, all right, I'm sorry, she's not working right now, Your Honor. So now she has more
Why isn't
time.
she working now? Why aren't you working?
Tell the court.
It was stressful.
Listen, life is stressful. Life is a stressful place. There's nothing easy about what we do. We get punched in the mouth all the time. And the question isn't whether we're going to get punched in the mouth. We are. And it's going to happen multiple times throughout our life. The question is, are we going to get back up, dust ourselves off, and say, I'm going to make sure this doesn't happen again? Are we going to get a little chip on our shoulder and say, I'm going to show everybody, including those who punched me in the mouth? Or are we going to go dwell in a corner and sit there and feel sorry for ourselves? Now, you do not have, there's no indication here. I want to double check before I make this statement. But my recollection is there's no indication you have any mental health issue. None whatsoever on this pre-sentence report. You've never had any psychiatric interventions. I don't see any indication on here that you have that. Life is stressful. But you know what? If you work hard at it, you will feel so much better about yourself. If somebody wins the lottery and they sit home, I don't care if they win $10 million. Everybody'd say, Judge, you're crazy. I don't care how much they win. They got to feel good about themselves. Sitting home playing video games, watching TV, eating, drinking, doing drugs. That's not going to help anybody. You got to dust yourself off. You need some more education. I probably should have ordered it, but I saw probably in my brain here that you were currently in classes. I did order you to obtain a high school diploma or a GED.
I was already doing it prior.
I know. Are you still getting the GED?
I go to school Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what we're going to do. If you guys want to say something else, you feel free.
Your Honor, I'm asking you to please not give my client jail time.
The
I would
client
say,
deserves jail time, but I'll listen to anything else you have to say.
Your Honor, I think you should give her one more shot. Let her go to a new agency. Let her go to an agency that has its act together. Give her a chance to go to the intake and to go to therapy once a week. And let her, if the weeks she does not go, let's say there is a delay for whatever reason, she will go to AA meetings that week. And she'll do them online. She will do that, Your Honor. What she deserves, you know, you see a lot of people, Your Honor, who deserve a lot worse than what you give them, but you are merciful, and I think you are forgiving, and I think you know that relapse is part of recovery. I'm not saying there's that excuse.
Relapse is part of recovery. Lying isn't.
You're right. And with her father dying and all of these things happening, I don't think she meant to lie, Your Honor. I think she did have a lot of issues with that organization. And yes, there were weeks she should have been more vigilant about what you ordered her to do. She will now. She takes this very seriously. And I wasn't representing her before. I am now, Your Honor. And I'm telling you, she will not.
She had a 2.4 on the breathalyzer test. She had a 2.4, 3 times the legal limit. 2.4.
True. That's high.
And she's taken this about as seriously as somebody who had a 0.03.
Your Honor, I think she's taking it a little more seriously than
I
that.
don't. She's not come close to complying with the order.
Your Honor.
Hang on. Is there anything else you want to say, ma'am?
Your Honor, I'm I'm sorry. I'm really trying. I am just going through a lot right now.
You got to try harder.
I understand
You will
that.
feel so much better about yourself if you try harder and you don't walk into a courtroom. and look
Sir,
the judge in the-
I've been
listen,
taking
don't
care of
interrupt the
myself since
judge.
I was 17. I've been trying.
Don't interrupt
Right
the
now,
judge.
I'm just really going through a lot. I'm
Don't in-
sorry.
don't
I'm
interrupt-
human.
Don't interrupt the judge.
Sorry.
What have you been taking? Tell me what you've been taking.
Taking FARs.
Taking what?
You taking FARs what?
I thought you said you've been taking something since you were 17 when I was
Taking
talking.
care of herself.
Taking care of myself.
I don't know what that means.
Your Honor, that she had to raise herself and she doesn't really have any family to help her.
Here's what I'm doing.
Your Honor, can you give her a month?
Are you going to let me finish?
I'm sorry, go
At
ahead.
some point, is somebody going to not interrupt me today?
I'm sorry.
Ms. Haywood,
Yes, sir.
you're not being truthful. You're not being truthful. You're not doing what you were supposed to do. I'm fearful that you're going to tell me that you don't have the money to do this, because if you don't, I'm sending you to jail. You're going to be on a SoberLink device by the end of tomorrow. Blow into that machine. You're going to blow into that machine. Listen to me, sit up. You're not going to jail. You're not going to go to jail, but you're not going to get away with this scot-free. She's going to go to AA 3 times a week until she's in treatment, and she's going to be in treatment. She's going to be in treatment. No later. Defendant to be in treatment. And I mean in treatment by April the 15th. Until then, she's going to be attending AA 3 times a week. And that's only until in treatment. So if she gets in earlier, I'm not going to make her do that. So if she gets in treatment 2 weeks, a week from now, she doesn't have to go to AA anymore. She's to be on a SoberLink by the end of tomorrow. She's to attend 2 days on the court work program and pay $70 for that. She's going to pay additional costs. I'm going to go light on those, Ms. Schlussel, $75. I'm going to extend her probation by 3 months until February 12th of 23. So she's going to owe $205. You're going to set up the terms of payment with her, Ms. O'Donnell. I want you to be lenient with her, whatever she can afford, but you need to work. You need to get your GED. I don't know why you're crying unless they're tears of joy. You have no idea. When I came out here today, I was 99% sure I was sending you to jail. Yes.
How long on the SoberLink device?
SoberLink, thank you for reminding me. If she's clean on the SoberLink device and she has it by the end of tomorrow, I'm only going to say until March the 25th. Okay? Until March the 25th. And that's it. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
Then stop carrying on and don't lie to me again.
Yes, sir.
Good luck.
Thank you.